Mufasa the Lion King. This movie's been hyped up loads. I was literally at Disneyland last week and I saw posters for this movie everywhere. Like, this studio really wanted me to watch this movie. I mean, look, not that they needed to tell me, because this original one right here, classic. Lion King 2, lots of fun. Lion King 1.5, admittedly a guilty pleasure. But this is more specifically a prequel to this. Yeah, I own it. Am I ashamed of it? I don't know. It's there, though. I mean, I don't know why I'd want to watch it when it's the same fucking movie as this right here. Like, shot for shot, it's just the same animation. Like, I don't know what you guys are... Anyway, yeah, same movie, but just wearing 25 years more advanced technology. But here, I was actually kind of compelled with Mufasa, because you have the ability to tell a story that Disney has never told before. This is directed by Jenkins, who brought you Moonlight a few years back. And Mufasa is an orphaned cub who is lost and alone, and he meets another lion named Taka, the heir to a royal bloodline. And no, this is not the same bloodline that Solo Sikoa runs every Friday night.
I love you, Solo!
This chance meeting sets in motion an expansive journey of an extraordinary group of misfits searching for their destinies. Alright, so I've gone through the movie and I've sat through it in a pretty packed theater, no less, getting ready for the holiday season. And as I was leaving the theater, there was only one thought running through my head. That was alright. That was fine. You know, liked it more than the 2019 movie, that's for sure. Again, because I don't know if I'm Nostradamus or not, but the originality of the story actually kept me a little bit more invested in it. Disney is allowing us to see how one of its most prolific kings had came to be. And yeah, it definitely has its cutesy, goofy Disney elements thrown into the mix. What with Timon and Pumbaa interrupting the narration as Rafiki is telling Simba's daughter the story. Yeah, cheap laughs. But I actually really appreciated the more gritty elements of this movie. And I definitely appreciated that Disney did not go back to the water well, if you will, so to speak. Because it would have been so easy to throw every single typical Disney cliche at the wall. But they don't do that. Mufasa's an orphaned cub, and it's not because his parents were dead. No, there's actually a pretty intense scene where Mufasa is actually separated from his parents. You don't see that a lot in Disney movies. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about these visual effects, shall we? Everybody was harping on the 2019 remake for the inexpressive nature of these animals. And yeah, that criticism doesn't go unwarranted. It is a pretty funny visual nowadays. Stupid. But I feel like these visual artists definitely learned from the mistakes of 5 years ago, and the characters are actually smiling a little bit more now. They're a little bit more expressive and Disneyfied. And yeah, with Disney animation of any kind, that's the way it should be. Notice how I'm not calling this Disney live action, because this isn't Disney live action at all. And give them credit, they actually put together a really solid cast to tell this story. You have Donald Glover coming back as Simba, albeit briefly. John Connie as Rafiki gets a huge chance to shine in this. And I love him as this character. He's really funny. Rafiki in general is really funny. You also have new actors making their way into the fold, like Lennie James from The Walking Dead. Such a great actor. He's so underappreciated and so underrated. You also have people like Kelvin Harrison Jr., Thandiwe Newton, really great in this movie. Mads Mikkelsen once again eating up every frame as a villain. You love to see it. And let's talk a little bit about young Alec Pierre as Mufasa. Humongous shoes to fill, especially in the wake of James Earl Jones's passing back in September. And the movie also did the right thing in honoring James Earl Jones at the very beginning. That man is a talent that will be sorely missed. He was an absolute icon, untouchable when it comes to his voice work, especially as Darth Vader and as Mufasa himself. And I know that everybody at the Disney family and everybody around the world, including myself who loves James Earl Jones dearly, will miss him. But I think Aaron Pierre does a solid job here. I think he's someone who very naturally steps into the role of leader, and it's a very interesting arc that Mufasa goes through. And the arc that him and his de facto brother Taka go through in this was very unexpected. And I honestly should have expected it, having watched The Lion King as many times as I have. And I didn't put two and two together as to what Taka actually was until maybe the halfway point, and I was like, oh, I see what you're doing here, movie. And yeah, the movie does have a number of really cool Easter eggs thrown into the mix. Sarabi does get a bigger part in this movie. And I think for what Mufasa is, it's okay. I will say that it is very weird to watch a Lion King story that's not based off of one of William Shakespeare's plays. At least I don't think it is. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of conspiracy theories out there linking this to like Julius Caesar or something. But that's neither here nor there. That's the thing about down the line. I will say that the gritty moments were my favorite aspects of Mufasa. Mufasa. So that's why I feel like the goofier aspects and the Disney-fied aspects of it kind of distracts from the tone Barry Jenkins was going for. Because yes, there are a lot of cutaways to Timon and Pumbaa, and they were my favorite aspect of the remake. Don't get me wrong. Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen, hilarious. But it just felt to me like they were there for cheap laughs. It was almost like a callback to The Lion King 1.5 in a sense. But the difference is, I am gut-busting laughing every time I watch Lion King 1.5. Seriously, if you haven't seen that movie in a while, go check it out. So that aspect of the movie was quite distracting. And I hate to say this part, the music of this movie was not my cup of tea. I love Lin-Manuel Miranda. I always will. As a theater geek, what he did with Hamilton is untouchable. His soundtrack and his songs for Mufasa, I think, were his worst. Now, this isn't to say that these are bad songs in a vacuum, but when you put Lin-Manuel Miranda's styling of music and you try and match it up with the Lion King aesthetic, I don't really think it works. Lin-Manuel Miranda's style of music is more suited to something like an In the Heights, something like a Moana, which is why I found it very odd that he chose this movie over Moana 2. And Moana 2, by comparison, I feel like was a lot better than this. But you know what? I'm gonna let the actors live their lives. I'm gonna let them choose the career paths they want to go down. I just didn't think that this was the right choice for Lin. But overall, I wouldn't say that Mufasa was a bad movie by any stretch. I did find some enjoyment out of it. Is it something I'm going to want to rewatch over and over again? No. But I do appreciate that Disney didn't reach into its often used book of cliches for this. And I'm glad that they were able to tell an original story in this live action quote-unquote setting. I'm going to give Mufasa a C+. Yeah, really not all that horrible, honestly. But let me know what you think. Have you guys seen Mufasa yet? Let me know down in the comments. And let me know what your favorite or least favorite live-action Disney movie is. Because I know those live-action Disney remakes are a polarizing topic of discussion, especially in this day and age. But I love what I do here. Getting to sit in front of this camera and talk about all things cinema with you guys brings me such great joy. And it's a really nice time to reflect on that, especially in a season that is filled with joy. So do consider becoming a subscriber. Tap on that thumbs up as well if you haven't already. And stay tuned for more exciting videos coming to the channel very, very soon. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.